Welcome to Publishing Power. My name is Joellen, and I am here today with Chris Simpson, one of our newly published authors. Welcome, Chris.
Hi, thank you, Joellen.
We are so excited to have you, and we would like to learn all about you and your book and what your whole journey to publication. So tell us a little bit about your book.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here too. The book is called The Sag Odyssey of Roman, and it is a space odyssey. And basically, you have the protagonist who is traveling through space, and each planet that he visits has its own unique struggles and problems that he has to overcome. See, and while he's on this odyssey, it's basically you have Pat Sag and you have Sab Sag, and it's kind of like the angel and demon concept. So they're always like um, throughout the series talking to him, sort of say, and giving him advice. And it's like I try to throw in, different aspects. I try to throw in some comedy. I try to throw in some real life situations. Really has you thinking about your morals and things like that in life. So.
Sounds like quite the book. Tell us a little bit about yourself as a writer. What are your interests, your groups? How do you connect with other authors out there in the world?
I started off, I started off writing poetry, and then I gradually became into a rapper. And when I realized that's not something I really wanted to do, because music became so compacted, and people's attention spans really just weren't there. Like they didn't really care about the material. They were just there for the videos. I really got back into writing stories. And when I started writing stories, it was like, all right, what's the next step from that? And that's what I tend to do when I learn from other writers too. It's like when I meet someone great, I'm just not out there to, become a fan or necessarily just to compete with them. It's sort of in the middle. You have to find a balance, and that's really what I try to do. It's like I'll learn from them, but at the same time, I'll also challenge them. Ask them questions that I know most people wouldn't, and that's just me naturally.
So that's interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about why it was important to publish your book? I mean, obviously, what was your motivation behind that? What was your goal, or your ultimate goal there?
See, basically, my ultimate goal with that was, it was very important to publish a book because it was almost like in today's society, we need validation, and I was looking for some sort of way to prove to myself and to others that I could actually, do something. And it was just a good wake-up call. And I took it a little too personal because actually when I published the book, I didn't put a lot of features out there. I just, put the manuscript out there. I didn't put anything about myself. And my feedback was, once again, my feedback was like what helped me start, because writing, basically it was, I started writing because one of my friends had told me to start writing, and they were like, you really sound good what you're saying right now. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of like poetry. I don't know. It's just like, free verse. And they're like, well, you should get that on paper. And it kind of went down with that with my novel too. Like people were like, Chris, you really should have some stuff about yourself, and you should clean it up a bit. So I really took that serious, and I added some, the page count, and I added the basic information about myself, and I cleaned it up some. So it was just, my purpose of writing was for other people, like always, not for myself, just to show people the way I see the world.
That's great. So when you were on this path, it sounds like you were taking a lot of advice from other people. Was there anybody that you found that was most helpful, or information that you found to help you figure out how to publish?
Really, it was a lot of different YouTube videos, to be honest with you. Like the internet was a big one.
Yeah.
I basically would look up, my favorite writers and see how they would work, and I would, follow their path. And doing so, you would, meet like-minded people who are on the same path as you. So you know what I mean? It's like as soon as I meet with somebody else like that, like a different writer, no matter if they're writing, an anthology or something like that, it doesn't matter what genre it is, you can always connect with them.
Right.
It's such a small world at the same time.
It is. So was there any reason you chose professional editing services on the way?
Yes, actually, it was really their advertisements and what they were their message that they were saying. Their message was to transform writers into authors, and it was sort of like a wake up call because like I was always writing, but I never really took it serious to actually get it done. So when I kept seeing these ads, I seen other ads like um, for different companies online. I would basically just like I would see first editing, and then I would notice that theirs were consistent. It had like I don't know, it was just their message, and I really looked through their website, and it was really everything was straightforward. It was like ABC, not like, oh, you pay here and then you add your information. It was like, we can start something off for free so you can see where you're at. And that really was um it was like an honest gesture. So I took a leap of faith, and it was really great actually.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. So, were there any roadblocks you found along the way in your writing or becoming published? Anything that held you back or you had to overcome?
A lot of roadblocks were actually, stuff on my own that like my old life were getting in the way. Like as I was, waking up and wanting to do more, at the
Yeah.
same time I had already, manifested all these habits and um, sort of, I could say, not bad friends, but friends with, um, I don't know how you put that,
Other priorities, maybe.
with other priorities, exactly. And
Yeah, that can be a new life, new beginnings. It's hard to go into there. So, what steps did you take to achieve your success?
first of all, I had to like accept the fact that I struggled in the past, and
Mm,
then once I did that, it was like then you have the chance to move forward. And once I had the chance to move forward, I started looking at everybody that I looked up to and see what
mm,
they did, because I realized there's really no difference. It's just they actually kept going. A lot of people stopped. So once I realized just to keep going, it was like no matter what, I had to just remind myself. I'd write myself affirmations and things
mm,
like that, um, to help myself get through each step, because each one had its own little unique problem that, you would think that everybody's out to get you, or the world is just cruddy, but it's really, just things take things take time, and you have to have patience, and at the same time you have to know when to go for it. So
mm.
it was just self-reminding.
To be honest, it sounds like we've almost got a life philosophy here more than book writing. Everything takes time, and you got to accept where you are and what you're doing. I mean, that's all good. It's really good.
Yeah. It took me 2 years to write the book, actually. So it was just like, like if a lot of the time when I would go through it, it was like, you know, a year down the road, it was like, man, I'm only like not even halfway through this, and I don't know what I want to do to end it. And it
Mm,
was just like, I don't know. It was just like your own struggles too within yourself that you would have to overcome. Like, other people like, hey, how's the book going? Like people can, be rhetorical or however they want. And it's like, you have to really stay on your own path and know
mm.
that this is what you want to do. Because it's definitely, definitely can be a struggle on all sorts of levels.
Well, 2 years, nothing. I talked to a lot of people. So 2 years in many people's games, that's pretty fast. I know nowadays we want to do things in 6 months or whatever, but 2 years, that's pretty good. That's pretty solid, I would say. That's a
Right.
good pace. Good pace, I would guess. So, did
Yeah.
you have any costs along the way? Any
Did
costs
I
that
have
you
any?
incurred? And can you share anything that you would tell other people to avoid or maybe not waste their money on, or they could get it cheaper, or you learned anything?
I didn't really have a lot of bad costs, you can say, because I really took like I said, it took 2 years, but at the same time, during those 2 years, it was, I was always researching online, like the best way, the best solution, like, self-publishing or going through a publisher, noticing that, it's really the same, you have the same chances. It's just, it's really like location slash, determination with that aspect. Your sales can be there either way. So it's like um, your cost can just basically go into the fact that you have to pay for what you want. You know, you get what you put in. You know,
Mm.
and that's just the rule. Like a lot of things in life. You know, like I paid a little extra for the book cover because I know in today's society that's what pops out. You know, everybody wants attention grab things. So
Yeah.
I it actually was like I said, like you had to keep everything. It was its own struggle too, because finding the book illustrator, I messaged like I'd say 30, 40 different people through this artwanted.com. And since I was a new user at the same time, they had clipped on that I could be spam, and I was like, you know, robot. So a lot of people didn't even respond, and
Oh no.
it was like through junk mail that I actually found my illustrator. Like he was like, yeah, I don't know, I don't think you were spam, but it says that. So long story short, it was just like I kept trying, and it really worked. So really, like you're gonna meet people even when you do have the money. You're still gonna meet people with their own problems themselves that they might have a time schedule. So it's like you always want to prepare even if you do not have your financials there. You still want to reach out and let them know. Most people have their own time struggles, and you want to go ahead and reach out to them so you can plan out. You know what I mean? Like make sure you know what you're going to do also, so they can know what they're going to do. Because like I said, like this is also a business at the same time. You need to take it like that and take it serious, because if you just take it like this is just a hobby, that's how people that you're paying are going to take it too. So it just affects everything, and it's a snowball effect. So you really want to be serious about the things you do, especially when it comes down to money and cleaning out. Never hurt anybody.
Mm. That's true. That's very true. So how did you manage your time? You had 2 years and you brought it to fruition. Was there anything that helped you manage your time to get there?
Basically, what helped me manage my time was I would always write at nighttime. It was just my thing. Just I'd work a regular 9 to 5. I'd also go to school part time.
Mm-hmm.
So at night it would be like instead of just hanging around being like I can't sleep, it's like I'm 26. At the time I was 23. It was just like either you're gonna do it or you're not. And I just found the time. I really like made time for my passion, because it was like everybody else is doing what they wanted to do in life. So I just really made time.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's good.
would write. I actually found some apps, like Scribner Pro, and I would put that on my phone actually, and it would be like while on my way to work, I'm writing with somebody. I'd be writing, you know what I mean? Like whatever I was doing, like I'd be writing. You'd be like, "Are you texting?" And be like, "No, I'm actually writing," because you pretty much can do anything on your phone nowadays, and people just only use like so much percentage of that. So I try to take advantage of that.
That's great. That's great. Scrivener's a good tool out there. I would definitely recommend that. Is there anything you wish you'd done differently?
Um, the one thing that I wish I would have done differently is definitely um, looking out there with uh, planning out there. Like I didn't really plan out the book publishing process. I more so just was so worried about the manuscript, which was a good thing. You don't want to just write a story just for wrong intentions. But I don't know, like the publishing part. Like if I would have, like instead of necessarily like went on there, head on full force through there, I would have had time to see that, hey man, if you're gonna do this, you're gonna get it done. So you might as well take your time and, you know, not just have paperback, but you could also, have different versions of that. And really it was like I was it was full force. So it was like almost like, hey man, I'll just, it was no time to stop. Like I want to just get this done because it's already been like it took 2 years. So it was like at the end of that, and it was like, all right, I'm just gonna do paperback and I'm just gonna put this out there. And if I would have took my time, it's like first impressions are everything. So really you never know. Like you could have had someone react a totally different way, but if since you didn't put your all into it, they reacted the way you gave them. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Well, first step, and there's always a second, third, fourth, fifth version. So don't worry.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So what were your feelings at the beginning of Journey, and how does it feel now in comparison?
my best advice for you, for anybody who's a writer, is basically to get yourself in a sort of routine. Like, you may have had a routine before, but when you're writing, like, it's all these, it's so much different. It's a huge process. So to get yourself in a routine that really, like, um, is flexible, but also it's personal. Like, you start um, writing affirmations, you start doing stuff in a timely manner, because at the same time of it just being a hobby, you're writing, but it can be, it's an actual business. So
Yeah.
you always want to take things, seriously, and plan out, because, like, you may think it's just for yourself, and really it could be for hundreds of other people out there who really appreciate what you have to say, even if you didn't know that they appreciate that. So it's
Yeah.
really just take it serious and take it like a business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You should always take yourself and your work seriously. Take the process seriously. I think you've given us quite a few good little tidbits here. If I could walk away with anything between taking yourself seriously and having an absolute routine, and then of course accepting that things take time and accepting where you are. And again, I've heard you say, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 times affirmations and believing in yourself. And it's been a big journey, more than just writing from the sounds of it, and that's great. I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's a learning
it,
journey in so many ways.
definitely a learning journey. Like I said, like, lastly, like, it's like the book itself. It's really about yourself, and self assurance through life, because life is just a big odyssey, if you really want to put it there. Like, and sometimes you never know, like, who to trust and what to do, but you can always look at yourself and what you've been through, and knowing, the times where you really were, like when you really were a savage, or the times where you really had to be patient, and you
Yeah.
can, like, intertwine those times just to almost do it, like, use your intuition. And that is really what the ultimate goal is at the end of the day, to really help spread people, just trusting themselves.
Hmm.
Because in a world where you can look at, in the age of reason, like, it's almost like we're losing our reason. We can just look at our phones and be like, hey, like, what does this answer tell me? And
Yeah.
it's almost like there's so many different scenarios that you can just end up losing if you forget to, you know, trust in yourself and remember that you got this. So that's really what this book is about. Like, through, some action and some comedy. So jam packed all.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations. This is fantastic. Now we're all intrigued and we want to take a look at your book and we'd like to hear more. So again, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for letting us join you on this journey and into your insight and a little bit about who you are and your aspects and your beliefs on life. So that's really great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.